Hey, hola y buenos días. Soy yo, el señor Morris. Soy el maestro de español. ¿Cómo están ustedes? Today, we'll review the family relationships that we've been talking about. Then, we'll look at one of the countries where people speak Spanish. In fact, it's the country that the language is named for. Does anyone think they know what country I'm talking about? We'll even talk to someone from that country to hear what they have to say about it. Okay? I think you'll enjoy it. But as always, let's go ahead and get started by singing our greeting song. Canten conmigo. Hola, hola, buenos días, bienvenidos, ¿cómo están? Todos juntos ya estamos listos para aprender. Muy bien cantado. Now, as I said, we'll start today's lesson with a review of the family relationships that we've been talking about so far in this unit. Here is the family tree that we looked at last time, el árbol genealógico. And let me see, I'm going to show you some people here, and I want to see if you can tell me what their relationship is to different people. For example, Manuel, what is his relationship to Cristina? His relationship is el hermano. Manuel es el hermano de Cristina. What is Cristina's relationship to Manuel? Cristina es la hermana de Manuel. How about Damián? What is his relationship to Cristina y Manuel? Remember? El papá. Damián es el papá de Cristina y Manuel. And what is Rosa? What is her relationship to Cristina y Manuel? Damián es el papá, Rosa es la mamá. La mamá. How about Doña Rosana? What is her relationship to Cristina y Manuel? La abuela. Doña Rosana es la abuela de Cristina y Manuel. How about Don Sabino? What is his relationship to Cristina y Manuel? El abuelo. Es el abuelo de Cristina y Manuel. Well, what about Cristina's relationship to Rosa y Damián? Cristina es ¿qué de Rosa y Damián? Es la hija de Rosa y Damián. About Manuel, what is his relationship to Rosa y Damián? Si Cristina es la hija, Manuel es el hijo de Rosa y Damián. What about Carlos over here? What is his relationship to Cristina y Manuel? Remember in English we said that he is their cousin. Y en español, el primo. Carlos es el primo de Cristina y Manuel. Si Carlos es el primo, ¿qué es Luisa? Luisa es ¿qué de Cristina y Manuel? La prima. Ella es la prima de Cristina y Manuel. What about Juan up here? Juan, what is his relationship to Cristina y Manuel? He's their uncle. Y en español, el tío. Juan es el tío de Cristina y Manuel. How about Valeria? What is her relationship to Cristina y Manuel? Juan es el tío. Valeria es la tía de Cristina y Manuel. Well, you all seem to be doing well with all of those words, and we'll continue to review those until you're dreaming about them and you all get good grades on the post-test. That's kind of why we go over these things so much, so that you'll all know them without really having to think too hard. and you can just recognize them and use them as easily as you use English. And then someday you can travel to a place where they always speak Spanish. Oh, but before I start talking about this place, I want to ask you, what do we call places like the United States of America or Mexico or Spain? They're not cities or states. Does anyone know? In English, they're called countries. In Spanish, we say país, país. And you see the accent there. That means that it is stressed there, país. Now, I have some students in El Paso who know the street named Paisano. And this comes from the word país, and it means someone from the same country. So if a Paraguayan sees someone else from Paraguay, they'll probably say something like, ¡Hoy, paisano! Pues hoy vamos a hablar del país de España. Spain is located on the Iberian Peninsula of Europe, along with the country of Portugal. Now, Spain is a country of great regional differences. In the northeast of Spain are the Pyrenees Mountains, which form a natural border with France. The southern tip of Spain is only about 10 miles from Africa across the Strait of Gibraltar. Now, the official language of Spain is Castilian, and that's what we're studying. In Spain and many parts of the world, the language that we're studying is known as Castilian, because there are other languages which are also spoken in Spain. In certain northern provinces of the country, people speak a language known as Catalan. And it's very much like the language spoken in the southern part of France called Provençal. In other northern provinces, people speak a language called Basque. Basque. And this is in the Basque country, it's sometimes called Euskera. In the northwest part of Spain is an area called Galicia. The people speak a language called Gallego. Gallego. Now, while these northern regions of Spain have been held by Europeans for over 1,000 years, the southern portions of Spain were held by Muslims from the north of Africa and the Middle East for almost 700 years before Ferdinand and Isabel drove the last of the Moorish kings from Spain in 1492. Does anyone recognize the significance of this year, 1492? It's the year that Columbus set sail towards the west to find the Indies on his first trip when he arrived at the Americas. And there he is pointing west. As a matter of fact, Ferdinand and Isabel were the Spanish king and queen who sponsored or paid for Columbus's first trip by paying for his ships. Now, the Muslim influences in Spain can still be found today in the art and architecture of the country, particularly in the south, where the Muslim influence was the greatest. Castilian Spanish, as it is spoken in Spain, is a little different from the Spanish that we're learning here. For example, the Z sound is pronounced as TH, so that the word zapato, which means shoe, would be pronounced zapato. Zapato. You hear that? And that's kind of like the difference that you hear between someone who speaks English here in the United States as opposed to a speaker from England who might say house instead of house. Okay? Now, we were able to speak with Dr. Matt Casado, an instructor here at Northern Arizona University, about Spain and the Spanish language. And I'd like you to watch that now. Presten atención todos. Matt Casado. Y bienvenido, Dr. Casado.
Igualmente.
Dr. Casado is from Spain. He's working now here at Northern Arizona University, and we've asked him to come to tell us some things about Spain from his own personal point of view. First of all, Dr. Casado, could you tell us more or less what part of Spain do you come from?
I come from the southeast corner of Spain on the Mediterranean coast, just north of Costa del Sol.
And what city did you live in?
The name of my town is Águilas, which means eagles.
Oh, well, we have a school that is Aguila School. So we have a school with the same name as your town.
That's very good.
Now, we were discussing Castilian Spanish, but there are other languages spoken in Spain other than the Castilian Spanish that we study.
Yeah, the Castilian Spanish is spoken in the center of the peninsula and also in the south. In the northeast, Catalan is spoken, which is a mixture of Castilian and French. In the north, there is the Basque, which is a language that doesn't resemble any other language in the world. And it is believed that the Basque were the original inhabitants of the peninsula and kept their own language since prehistoric times. And the third language is Gallego, which is spoken north of Portugal and is very similar to Portuguese.
Well, are these languages used even today in Spain? Are they still living languages?
Very much indeed. These languages are spoken every day, and students are also taught in these languages in their own regions. And newspapers are published in these languages, so very much so, yes.
Now, with regards to the Castilian Spanish that we're studying, I've noticed that there are some differences in the pronunciation. Are those the only differences between what we're studying here and what is spoken perhaps in Spain?
The languages are basically the same. I have often gone to Mexico City, and I feel like as if I was in Madrid. So the languages are exactly the same. There's a few variations when you want to talk about plants or animals. For instance, pepper in Spanish, Castilian is pimiento, and in Mexico is chile.
The chile.
Car in Castilian is coche, and in Mexico is carro. And for instance, turkey in Spain is called pavo, and in Mexico is called guajolote. So there is a few differences, but basically the language is the same.
Now, in speaking about food, we know that in many parts of Mexico they eat spicy food, a lot of chile as they call it. Do they eat the same way in Spain?
No, they don't. The food in Spain is not spicy at all. However, we use a lot of olive oil and garlic in most of our dishes. We don't eat much beef because Spain is not, it doesn't rain much in Spain, but lamb is eaten quite often. Lamb is very good. Rices are very good. Rices that you can cook with all type of meats and vegetables. And also seafood is plentiful in Spain.
Now, we in this unit are discussing family relationships. Could you give us some insight into the importance of family relationships in Spain?
Yeah, Spain is a very old country, and we have found out that the only institution that people can trust is the family. Therefore, Spanish people are very much family oriented. They like to live together. Very often you will see children that are 25 years old living still with the family, and the grandparents very often live with the family. They like to stay together. It's sort of a cozy feeling.
Oh, that's great. Now, if there's one thing that you would like to tell our students, if there's one thing you'd like to say to them, what would you like to tell our students who are watching today?
About Spain?
Yes.
I would like to invite all the students to visit Spain when you can. Spain is a very interesting country, and you will find it fascinating.
So try to learn your Spanish really well. Practice it when you go to Spain. Doctor Casado, muchas gracias.
Igualmente.
Muy bien. Muchas gracias a Doctor Casado. That was very nice of him to do that. Ahora, saquen la hoja de actividades llamada Mapa y Bandera de España. Oh, Mapa y Bandera de España. I bet you can figure out what this means, mapa and bandera de España. Well, I tell you what, go ahead and let's start by writing your name up at the top. Voy a escribir mi nombre. Me llamo Roberto. Aquí está el mapa de España. Y aquí está la bandera. So the bandera is the flag of the country. Well, the instructions say, use a resource book to find the mountains and oceans of Spain. Color the mountains brown and the oceans blue. Color the rest of the land green. And then it says color the flag of Spain using a resource book to find the correct colors. I'm going to give you a hint. Remember I told you that there are these mountains here along the border between Spain and France. And those are called the Pyrenees. So go ahead and draw those mountains in. And once you get them in, you can come back and color them and color this land brown. Okay? And then you're going to color the oceans blue. And I'm going to give you another hint here. Out here is the Mediterranean. So you can start coloring there. Okay? And then you may have to look in a reference book to find out the colors of the Spanish flag. So you go ahead and do that when you get a chance. Okay? Today, we reviewed the family relationships that we've been talking about. And we learned a little bit about Spain and got to interview or talk to a person from Spain. Now, if you're interested in learning more about Spain, I would certainly encourage you to look for more information on the country. And you can find that in books, and videotapes. You can look on the internet and find a lot of information there. If you'd like to, you can access our website here at the Elementary Spanish Program, and we have a lot of links that you can use to find more information. Pero saben que ya es hora de despedirnos. For our goodbye song today, we're going to sing a song from Spain. Okay? It's called Cielito Lindo. Now it starts off by talking about the Sierra Morena, and that's a mountain range in Spain. So maybe when you're looking through your reference books to find where all the mountains are in Spain, you'll see the Sierra Morena mountain range. And as always, the words for this song are in the student resource notebook and in the teacher's guide. So if you want to, you can see what these words are talking about. Ahora canten conmigo. De la Sierra Morena, cielito lindo, vienen bajando un par de ojitos negros, cielito lindo de contrabando. Help me out now. Ay, 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 ay. Canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegran, cielito lindo, los corazones. That's very good. Now, next time we're going to continue looking at another country where Spanish is the language that's spoken. It's the country where more Spanish speakers live than anywhere else in the world. Do you think you can figure out what it is? Maybe when you're looking through your reference books, you'll find that today. Until our next class, muchísimas gracias y hasta luego. Ay, ay.